What is going on, everyone? The Creepy Kentuckian is here.
And I'm Uncle Bill. How y'all?
Buddy, I'm doing great. And we'd like to welcome, let's see, I don't know how we can, you do a little bit of everything in the world of horror conventions, YouTube, podcasts.
Yep.
I'm just a horror.
An amazing collection, which I was telling Uncle Bill, that's what, because I'd watched your stuff all, off and on YouTube, but then you posted
off and on. What the fuck?
Well, listen to this,
Off and
though.
on?
Listen to this.
What kind of dedication's that?
He's not a hardcore fan.
The Trick or Treat
I watch
Studio.
every video you guys post. I'm a real friend.
No,
Anyway,
the Trick or Treat Studios video, though, and then I just started down the wormhole of every damn thing that you put on your YouTube, which
wait till you get into my fucking early porn years. That's what it gets fucking.
I haven't went
I
that
was in
far.
shape at one time. Wait till you see.
But yeah, I guess due to COVID and all that, you started doing a little bit more stuff on YouTube.
Yeah, I got bored.
Yeah, the convention scene, I guess, which a lot of people know you from conventions, The Walking Dead in particular. That's where you made most of your money, right?
Well, that's the best way to start this off.
That's when you started getting the William Shatner masks and all that good stuff.
I did very well off The Walking Dead. Yeah, but that's just a part of my income. But those were good days.
That was a boom period because me and Uncle Bill talked from time to time. Like, I guess it was one of the Whorehound shows. I think it was 2010, right before The Walking Dead debuted, and Norman Reedus was at that show. And I'm not going to say nobody cared, but it was like he was kind of just walking around hanging out with you and stuff, and he could just do what he wanted, right? And then it was, I think it was the Columbus show, Whorehound 2012, and we saw people lined up around the fucking hotel. And I was like, what in the heck? And it was for Norman Reedus, and I'm like, what? Because I didn't keep up with, I wasn't a Walking Dead person. I didn't keep up with it. And I was like, holy shit. So just him alone, man. I mean, that was a crazy few years there.
It's one of my favorite images burned into my mind is like Sean Clark walking alongside Norman Reedus with like he's the Secret Service agent when Ronald Reagan gets shot, like just like trying to keep people at bay and shit. Because that's kind of the point that it got. It got to be like hysterics there for a while.
Yeah, it was crazy to see it happen, to witness it, to be a part of it, working with him before Walking Dead and then watching the explosion and kind of going along for the ride. One day we're sitting at a convention at an empty table, twiddling our thumbs, wondering if we're going to get paid. And then fast forward like 2 years to being chased down the streets of Japan by screaming girls. It was crazy,
That had to be an interesting story, though.
Oh, dude, that was crazy. I got footage of it. It was nuts. That was crazy. We've seen some hysteria, like Beatlemania shit,
Japan is a whole different kind of mindset when it comes to pop culture. So I can imagine how crazy that was.
Yeah, they're nuts, man. But they're respectful, but they're hardcore.
So the convention thing, though, a lot of people may not realize. For a while there, I guess it was almost every weekend for you. You were going across the country, across the world sometimes.
Yeah, that's it's funny as I did it for so long, so much, like almost like you said, almost every weekend for like 10 years straight, that it just became normal. And then when the COVID hit and I got an actual break, I was like, fuck, this is awesome. Oh, thank you, Foz.
Yep, he's in a band himself.
We ever played.
He is a Star Trek punk band, Foz Rotten.
Boldly Go. Yeah,
Boldly
it's a great band.
Yeah, that was our last show ever.
We're going to have some weird stuff in here. If you could have pizza with one director.
Alive or dead.
Yeah.
I mean, if it was dead, it would be Stanley Kubrick, and I'd just get pepperoni. But if it was alive, I'd love to meet Spielberg. Never met him. I've met all the cool horror directors. I need the big boys. But
so, yeah, I mean, with the COVID thing, it gave you kind of a break, a big long break there, because conventions, I suppose, are just now starting back up on a regular basis.
Well, you know what happened with that is, so the COVID thing happened. It was a much, much, much needed vacation. I mean, for me, staying home was a vacation because I'm always traveling. So I was having a blast. I started doing a bunch of personal projects at home, and then I got bored. And, I really, I love doing the Horrors Hall of Ground stuff, the filming location stuff. So I decided, you know what, I'm finally going to do a YouTube channel and put all those episodes up. I really wasn't doing much with Scream Factory anymore. So I was just like, why don't I just start putting them all up? I own them. And then I was like, well, I can't really go anywhere, but I live in Southern California. There's so many filming locations. Nobody's out on the streets. What a perfect time to go do filming locations. So I started shooting a bunch of new episodes and just learning how to use the editing software. Because I would edit my episodes with an editor, but I didn't do the physical editing. So I learned how to use the software and started kind of figuring it all out. And it's been a lot of fun. And then the podcast, The Thing with Two Heads, Chris Nelson just bored one day, said, hey, you want to do a podcast? And I'm like, okay. And we started doing it, and it was basically just us bitching about things that we hate. Stuff that bothers us.
That sounds familiar.
Yeah.
Well, it's a lot more fun to do that. I'd rather somebody be honest with me.
Yeah.
So.
And I think that's what little bit of following we've built has been based on people liking our honesty, that we're kind of, maybe we have a little different perspective because we're kind of in the business, and that we have a different perspective and we're pretty honest about it and we don't really sugarcoat it. I'm actually shocked that Chris says some of the shit he says, because, these are people that could hire him, if he's shitting on somebody's movie. You know what I mean? That director might be your next boss,
So are you working on we got Garrett in here. Are you working on a Lost Boys episode right now?
Yeah. It's all been shot except for, I went to Santa Cruz and did all that. And it's going to be finally the first complete Lost Boys locations video, because I know there's some out there that say they're complete. They're not. The one in particular that actually says complete in the title is missing 4 locations. I get really specific. It's something I enjoy. I like to really dig in. I need to go back and redo the cave stuff, because I actually started shooting that episode in 2010. And Corey Haim was going to go with me to Santa Cruz, and we were going to do it. And I shot the cave stuff, and then he died. And so I kind of lost my motivation and, bummed me out. So I never got around to doing it again. So I need to go back and reshoot that footage, because it looks like shit now, because it's like, before HD. And then I still need to do the bridge. And for the bridge, Alex Winter's going to go back with me and do that with me. So we're going to, he was there, so you can talk about what it was like to shoot there and everything. And it'll be pretty cool.
Now, are you doing that for YouTube primarily, or could it be on an upcoming 4K?
I pretty much ain't doing it anymore for anybody but myself, unless somebody wants me to. If Scream Factory called me today and said, hey, we got this coming out, would you like to do it? I'd definitely consider it. But they've been using some low rent people lately. So,
Listen, I don't want you to hold back about this shit. Really,
well, you know what? People. The biggest thing I heard was, dude, what the fuck? Why didn't you do the Friday the 13th box set? What the hell was that all about? And I'm just like, they never asked me, So, they can keep putting the knockoffs in there, and, you get what you pay for. There's some of their features lately have been garbage. I'm just going to straight up say it. Michael Felcher's stuff, his stuff's great. And there's another guy they use, I can't remember his name. Does
Justin.
pretty good stuff. Huh? What?
Is it Justin?
No, I hate his stuff. I mean, I do.
I don't know
Yeah.
who else they use. I don't keep up with that.
There's another guy. I can't remember his name. It's pretty good stuff. I just don't recall his name. But no, it's just like, you know, a lot of they're just like fucking talking head, poorly edited. You know, it's disappointing, and it's not me. It's not me being bitter. I hear it from everybody. Like every time one of those releases come out, like people are contacting me, like, you know, well-known journalists and stuff are like, dude, have you seen this? It's like hard to watch. It's like, I can't believe they did that to my favorite movie. This is terrible. And, you know, and I think at the end of the day, it's all about all the text on the back of the DVD. If it looks like there's a bunch of shit, that's cool. Yeah. They don't the content really. I just don't feel like they care about the content as much anymore. Not so much like the quality of the, like if they're doing an HD transfer, this and that, you know, the movie. What I think they put the time into that, but the bonus features, I just feel like they've really been lacking.
I'll be honest with you. I don't think they put much time into shit anymore. Like, just in, I mean, it is my own opinion. Like, my own opinion does not reflect
Quality
anyone else's opinion.
A big issue with them too.
But Jesus Christ, the whole just
quality control. I mean, how many of the recalls have they had on? I mean, the list is a mile long, especially in the last couple of years.
And guess what? My shit wasn't on there. So what does that tell you? Boom, right there.
That sounds it.
You put some stank on it, it's gonna stink, you know.
There you go.
Anyway,
well, yeah, I'm not a big fan of Scream.
No,
Factory,
neither one of us are fans of Scream Factory.
Well, you know what?
At this stage in the game,
I like those guys. I like Cliff. I like Jeff. I think they sometimes take on more than they can handle. Like, you know, they got too much stuff coming out. You look at guys like Synapse that spend ridiculously long amounts of time. I mean, how long did it take them to get that fucking Suspiria and shit like that? I mean, like they really put in the time, and you know, it's more of a passion thing than a profit thing. And hey, I get it. I'm not knocking them for it. You know, they're giving us stuff we probably would never get, you know, and I appreciate what they're doing. It's just, I think they're overwhelmed and understaffed, in my opinion.
it's just like a Starbucks kind of approach at this point. It's like they're putting out all this shit and they just don't seem to really have any heart behind it anymore. Like at one time, I really felt like they gave a shit about the releases, but now it's like, here's like 50 releases in 3 months. Let's just, here it is.
When I really started to pull away from them was when they wanted, and you know, this was what really that bothered me and my team, if you will, which was Vidywell Films, was me and Buzz Wallach and Andrew Cash, and sometimes Dave Parker would work on them too. Is we liked to create actual content, actual art. So like if you look at we won the Saturn Award for the bonus features for the Halloween box set. You look at that featurette we did for Halloween 4, 5, 6, H2O that are like mini documentaries. That is something to be proud of. They don't want that anymore. They want standalone interviews. So I got kind of argued with them. Like, look, man, I want to make a documentary. And they're like, no, we don't want you to put that to, because the reality is on the back of a DVD cover, if it says the making of Halloween 4, blah, 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 that doesn't look as good as interview with Dwight Little, interview with George Wilbur, interview with Daniel Harris. It looks like you're getting more than you're getting. You're getting the same shit, but less work put into it, less actual art put into it. And that's what bothered me is like, you know what, man? I'm not here to just shit out talking head interviews. I want to put together something that is like telling a story, you know?
Yeah. I mean, if you have any passion for these movies, that's kind of what you would want to do. Yeah. But it's like everything's become, 5-7 minute little like interview snippets like that. It's like nobody wants to see that shit. Like they're
And
going to
then-
say the same stuff that you know for like 50 times over.
And you know what fucking drives me crazy more than anything is you want to watch all 10 of those interviews and you have to sit through those goddamn credits at the beginning of it. Fucking Justin Beam presents a Justin Beam production of the, and then it's like, an interview with so-and-so. And then it's like you sit through all that shit over and over again with the theme music and the opening and the credits. And it's like, dude, just give me one thing so I can watch them all. And I don't have to sit through all this nonsense. Filler. It's a lot of filler,
Yep.
You know that you
I hate
mentioned that, though. I think Michael Felcher he was on the show like a year ago or whenever this was getting ready to come out.
Yeah.
He was talking about the Tales from the Dark Side feature length, the Dark Side movie, the feature length documentary, and he was proud of it. And I know he posted some stuff about it on Facebook. And when it come out, people were like, "Where in the hell is this documentary at?" Because they'd done just what you said. They chopped it up into just different segments, I guess, to kind of make it, fill out the.
Oh, so they didn't
bonus
release it as
materials.
a documentary? I haven't watched it.
I don't think so.
I did the James Remar interview. That was actually shot in my living room. I did that for Felcher for that. I haven't watched it yet. Oh.
Yeah, I haven't seen any of it. I just remember a couple of people messaging me about it. I was like, where the hell is this feature-length documentary? So, if it is on there, it's the first I've heard of it.
Yeah, I don't even know if I even got it, if they even sent me a copy.
Probably
No,
not.
I got it. Okay.
Probably not.
It's not open. It's still sealed.
There you go.
Yeah, see if it
Yeah,
says
it's
feature-length
Yeah, it says
documentary.
interviews.
Okay.
Yeah.
Huh. Oh, well. One more thing for me to bitch about.
That's true. So,
And you know what? I've had this same discussion with Slippy, and he totally agrees with me 1,000%. He feels the same way. He wants to make documentaries. He doesn't want to do talking head interviews because it's boring, man. You know, you want to, it's like when I put together my Horrors Hall Grounds episodes, I'm trying to tell a little story of following the production of the film, and not just, what if each fucking location was a separate thing? Sean Clark presents the Myers house, and I'm like, and then I go, Sean Clark presents the schoolyard. It's fucking cornball. Put it in one thing, So anyway.
It's almost like it's gone in reverse, because you remember at the beginning when special features first started to come on DVDs and stuff,
Yeah.
and that was what they were. They were just brief little things, and then it like became kind of like an industry. People that really cared about it started putting these kind of documentaries, and it's gone back to that. It's like it's completely done.
It's lazy. That's all it is. It's lazy.
Yeah.
someone up here, I think I missed it. I don't know if it was Adam or no, it's Ken Carlson was asking your favorite Horrors Hallowed Grounds that you've done, and I've got a add on to that. What was the most difficult location for you to find?
Difficult location to find?
Yes, sir.
Well, favorite episode is Session 9, just because that was the coolest location, and it was so much fun breaking into that building and all the crazy shit we did to get in there. That was fun. But most difficult to find, I mean, God, there's a lot. It's funny. I stopped editing to do this. I'm in the process of editing a Halloween Kills episode. Ooh. And it's been an interesting challenge because I'm going off of memory. Normally I take the movie with me and I'm lining shit up. This time I'm literally going off of remembering where everything was because I saw the movie. And now that all these pictures are leaking and, there's so much, they've just ruined this movie spoiler wise. And there's just so much stuff out there. I'm starting to line stuff up and realize I was like, fuck, it was right there. And I'm looking this way and, so I'm getting a little frustrated. So that's kind of a pain in the ass. But as far as, things that, one of the hardest things to find was this is getting really nerdy and intricate, but in Fast Times at Ridgemont High, there's a scene when Spicoli and them pull into a parking lot and they get out of the van and smoke's coming out of the van. They're going to the prom. that parking lot and that building was not at any of the other schools. And finding that was such a bitch because the building had been torn down. And we figured out where it was. Actually, a guy named Paul Hollinshead is the guy who actually found it. But it was part of Santa Monica High School, which was a high school not featured in the film. Oddly enough, the school Sean Penn graduated from. But it was a building that had been torn down. And we had to find... I even bought old yearbooks from Santa Monica High School, just trying to find pictures of this building to match it up. And we did. And we finally found it. And that was a nightmare to find. And also finding where Max's house was from Lost Boys, because nobody has found that. It actually got torn down. It was damaged in a big earthquake in 94. I don't know, 80. I forgot what year it was. It was late 80s, early 90s. There was a big earthquake, and they had to tear it down because it was right on a cliff overlooking the ocean. So I found the spot, and I talked to the neighbors, and they knew all about it, and they remembered it. And so that's one of the uncovered locations from Lost Boys nobody's ever found.
Wow.
Yeah.
Sweet.
It was a lost location from Lost Boys.
From Lost
location.
Yeah. There you go.
The reason we asked you on here, though, because we talk about this sort of shit all the time, but you've got, like, you bring it up a notch with some of your collection. So, the collector's mentality, where did it start with you as far as you collect a little bit of everything? You're kind of, you know, you got records, posters, screen use stuff.
I'm looking at your background there with all the DVDs and the records on the floor. You look back here, same shit, records on the floor. You know, no, I'm like a fucking sort of hoarder / you know, whatever collector. I don't know. It's pretty bad. My toy room, prop room is a nightmare right now because I've literally, as I got back on the road and I'm gone constantly and I'm busy, I've just been stacking shit in there. And it's like, it's a nightmare in there already. I spent all of COVID clearing it out and getting it perfect. And now it's back to where it was. It's fucked up. So, but yeah, anyway, continue.
Yeah.
I keep looking at that ugly ass fucking Part 4 Myers mask in the picture here.
Oh yeah. I found it online. I don't have the Part 4, unfortunately.
Anyway, I keep staring at it. Anyway.
Somebody needs to it needs to be a shirt. You know how they have the spoof shirts? They should have the actual Part 4 mask on the poster and make that.
Somebody's
shirt.
done that. I've
really?
seen that. Yeah, but not as a shirt. But yeah, I'd wear that.
Well,
I think it said like something like what you wanted, and it has the real poster. What you got is, you know, they replaced it.
Right. Yeah. What was the first thing though you remember like kind of going crazy collecting though?
First thing I went crazy collecting.
Right.
As a kid, it was records. I mean, I was really into buying records when I was a little kid. Started with Kiss in like 1977. I just started. Yeah, I was obsessed with Kiss. So, and then I just got into. I was really into music, so I was constantly buying records every time I got my allowance. So that's the first thing I really got into collecting, I think.
And then I know you're big into the Star Wars collectibles, the original figures and all that. Was that a little bit later on for you?
Well, I've always, it's more of a nostalgia thing. I only collect really the old school carded figures. I made the mistake of when fucking Phantom Menace came out, went and bought everything like everybody else did and stood outside of Toys R Us like a dumbass. So I got rid of all that shit. But I think I started collecting vintage Star Wars carded figures in the mid 90s. But, it's funny is back then I thought they were so expensive. I remember I paid $500 for a carded 12-back Han Solo figure, and I just struggled with it for like months. Like, I can't believe I just paid $500 for this thing. Now it's worth like, I don't know, 5,000. So I'm like stoked I did that. But yeah, no, I've just the original runs, Star Wars, Empire, Jedi, and then the 80s Power of the Force. That's pretty much all I collect. My goal is to get the first appearance of every character on its original card. And I think I have like maybe 17 left to get. A couple of them are the ridiculously expensive, like Yak Face, which is like $5,000 figure. You know, that's going to be like probably the last one I get, and I'm just going to kill myself afterwards. I don't know.
That's it. Have you noticed though, like how fucking crazy after COVID, like the collectible kind of thing got in terms of like, I don't know like how it is for things like Star Wars, but for like posters and, you know, out of print Blu-rays and things like that, it's gone insane. Like the amount of money that they go.
Yeah. You know, the thing that's crazy about that is when I was telling you how I was cleaning out during COVID, I was organizing and cleaning shit out. And I was like, I got to get rid of some of this shit. And I had boxes of crap in the garage, tubs full of stuff. And I started, and I thought to myself, fuck eBay. They take too much money. And, so I just started doing my own little live auctions on Facebook. And I was shocked that people were buying shit like crazy and paying fucking crazy prices for. I was like, hell yeah. You know what I mean?
Yes, yeah.
So I think Felcher was the same way. Like I would watch some of his stuff.
Yeah.
Because we used to.
Felcher copied me. He told me, he goes, dude, he said, I saw your auctions and I was like, shit, I'm going to do that, So yeah, it's crazy.
Well, years and years ago on like fucking Blog TV or one of those, we used to do those auctions on there. And back then you would have like maybe 20 people in the chat or whatever, and you get some killer deals on Felcher stuff. But anymore, you've got like one or two people that jack every fucking item up on those auctions, which is good for you.
You gotta love it. Yeah.
But, yeah, it's a little bit too steep for me.
It's funny is people were saying to me, like, people were like contacting me, dude, is everything okay? Or you're selling your collection off? I'm like, are you hurting? I'm like, I'm just getting rid of shit, dude. And, I'm just I'm trying to clear out space, It had nothing to do with needing money. It was just like, I wonder if anybody would buy this, or should I just toss it? And I was like, fuck, somebody paid $300 for that. Shit. Mm-hmm. All right. I'm glad I didn't throw it away, So that's all it was. And now I'm back in that same situation where I got a ton of stupid shit I don't need and I should try to sell it again. But so I'm hoping Delta variant, come on, kick in, baby. Let's have another vacation.
You could still do like a couple of years or something and still do really well with it.
Yeah, well, it's just I don't have time. I mean, it's like I'm traveling nonstop. I mean, I just got back from Orlando. This weekend we're doing a local event in LA, thank God. We're doing a thing at the Sugar Mint Gallery, which is the gallery behind the Myers house. We're doing a big Halloween signing there. And then next weekend, I'm going to fucking Manchester, England, which, I don't want to do that. Damn. But yeah, that's a fucking hell of a flight. It's a nightmare flight. I hate to fly. And then the weekend after that, Monster Mania, Pennsylvania, and it just never stops, man.
Mm. Definitely, I understand for sure. Your fascination with the Halloween franchise. What age? When do you start collecting? I remember I think it was on the Gym or YouTube. You were talking about some of the screen used masks, which I think Greg Nicotero gave you one, right? It's pretty much here you go, dude.
That was a shock, yeah. And I didn't know him that well. Like I was just a fan that he had met at conventions a bunch of times and remembered me from seeing me so much. And I saw him at a Pasadena toy show. This is probably 1994, maybe. And I just said, "Hey, man, I love Halloween. I'm trying to get every mask, and I know you guys made part 5. And is there a way I could, even get just the pull? I'll paint it myself and do, whatever." And And he was just like, yeah, man, sure. No, here's call me at the studio. And I thought he was just kind of blowing me off. Yeah. Here's the number, call me. And I figured it'd be like, Greg's not available, but he got on the phone and he's just like, oh yeah, man. Yeah. He goes, yeah, I'll have my guys pull the mold and pour one up for you and we'll paint it up and everything. I'm just like, wow. And he goes, well, he goes, I do have one in my garage at home that we used in the movie. Would you rather? And it goes, if you want that one, I'm like, yeah. So, yeah, I couldn't believe it. I mean, to this day, I'll defend that guy to the grave because he was fucking cool to me, man, and he didn't need to be. I was just some kid, So.
I mean, for that time period, though, you could almost understand it because this was years before eBay and people were selling, just kind of hawking shit and selling and stuff.
But Jesus, we met him, what, was it like 10 years after that? And he was still awesome. I mean, he's pretty much been consistently awesome throughout his career. I think.
Yeah. Well, yeah, he's a fan, man. He's a legit fan, so. But to answer your question about, you asked me about when did I get into collecting Halloween and this. I mean, I saw Halloween in the theater when it, 78, when it opened. I saw it. And I loved it and I was obsessed with it, but you couldn't really collect. There was nothing to collect. There was nothing. I mean, that's kids today don't know how fucking good they have it because you couldn't buy a Halloween T-shirt. You couldn't buy a Halloween poster, You had to know somebody that worked at a movie theater that would give you one, there really wasn't any Halloween collectibles until, when I started going to conventions, late 80s, early 90s, it was all bootleg shit. It was all bootleg. Bootleg shirts, bootleg model kits, resin kits. That's what we were into. We saw something that looked like a fucking turd and they said Michael Myers on it, you'd buy it just because, holy shit, Michael Myers, even though it looked like crap, you'd buy it, So it's, man, to be able to walk in a fucking Spirit Halloween and see a treasure trove of horror merchandise and shit, that's just nuts. It's nuts.
It's crazy. I remember for us, of course, we're in Kentucky, but like the only place you could find a Michael Myers mask was around Halloween at Spencer's Gifts in the mall.
That's
and
true.
It seems like it was
that was
always
my first job.
It seems like it was always the Part 4 mask, or at least that's in my memory. It's like it was never anything different than
it's not Part 4, it was the Don Post Studios. It was called The Mask, and it looked sort of Part 4-ish.
Yeah.
And yeah, I worked at Spencer's in 1989. That was my first real job. Man, Halloween at Spencer's back then was magical. That's why I wanted to work there, because of Halloween. Not Halloween the movie, but just how cool the store was. Now it's just like fucking close to a porn shop with fucking fart joke stuff everywhere. It's like, and M&M t-shirts or whatever. It's turned into a fucking dump. What's the deal with fucking... I sound like Jerry Seinfeld was like, what's the deal with the fucking t-shirts at Spencer's? Why is it that at Spencer Gifts they have like Michael Myers shirts of Michael Myers going like this and shit? It's like they have like these vulgar shirts that are just like not something a horror fan I know would wear. It's like they got weird shit there, like Chucky says "fuck yourself" and stuff.
Whenever I walk into Spencer's now, like I'm just like, who is this store for?
Juggalos.
Like I really, because I really try to figure it out, because it's like the most odd collection of shit that you would never like put together.
Yeah.
Here's some fucking coffee cups with The Office on it, and then here's some rat t-shirts.
My dog's bothering me. Sorry. My dog wants me to feed him. He keeps walking in and whining. I keep going, get out. So it's a weird collection of fucking semi-porn material with like fucking rubber shit and vomit and stupid pranky shit and lava lamps and like Lil Wayne shirts with the fucking, Iron Maiden shirt next to it that even an Iron Maiden fan wouldn't wear because it's like too crappy. I don't
Yep.
I don't know what I don't know who's doing their shit and why they're still in business. That's the thing
what
that
I was
blows my
wondering.
mind.
Yeah.
Every
Yeah,
time
that
I go to
seems
the
like-
mall, ain't nobody in there.
It seems
No.
like one of those, like that they're still around, like Suncoast Video or something like that. Like they should
I wish
be gone.
Suncoast was still around.
Me too.
I loved
Me too.
Suncoast, man.
Yeah, for sure. But yeah, you were saying though
Spencer's is garbage.
in the late 70s, really up until what would you say 10 years ago? I mean, it was kind of you had to special order it or you had to get somebody to make you a mask online or whatever. And
Yeah.
Trick or Treat Studios, which the new, I guess it's the Halloween Kills mask. That's actually from the mold, the movie mold, right?
Yeah, they poured like a master copy out of the mold and they make all their molds off of that. So I guess technically it may be a generation or two down from out of the mold, but it is the sculpt. Yeah,
So that's pretty cool. I mean, it's like, what, 60, 70 bucks, and you can get a fairly accurate, I guess you have to repaint it or whatever people are doing. I'm not into that in particular, but they have those masks in Spirit Halloween as well. I saw a couple of those last weekend. So times have definitely changed when it comes to that sort of thing.
Yeah, it's crazy. It's crazy that, all these bootleggers like myself back in the day were making these screen accurate masks because you couldn't get them anywhere. I mean, if you look back at the stuff that was being sold by like Rubies and shit, those fucking Myers masks that just look so bad that, you make memes out of them because they're just so terrible. It's like, who was approving that garbage? I mean, it was unbelievable. But now you can find every version. Like, look in the pictures there. Part 5, Part 4, Part 6, H2O. They're all out there. Even the shitty H2O one you can buy.
Well, they have all 6 different. They need to have we were talking about. They have the CGI version. They haven't sold it yet. They can sell it. They
should have the CGI version. It should just be like somehow they should make it so it's like a video screen
exactly
thing, so it just lights up and it looks all shitty. I don't know.
But
it's so
movie,
pathetic.
Man. I watched.
Those Halloween fans are so crazy they'd buy that shitty.
Oh
CGI.
yeah.
That's a weird movie though. I watched it last year for the first time in a long time, and I mean, it's not horrible or anything, but it's just odd. Like I don't know. It doesn't really feel like a Halloween movie at all.
Well, for me, it's tough because I see every time the mask changes, and it's so obvious to me. Like, oh, there he goes, that mask. Oh, it changed. Nope, now it's back. Oh, now it's that one. Dude, that mask changes, and because they shot the whole movie and then went back and reshot the close-ups with the Winston mask. So every time you see him in the distance, it's that shitty KMB version that's very blank. And then when he gets closer, it's the cooler Winston looking one. Then you got the shitty CGI one. And then you got the Part 6 one that's in the opening scene when he kills Nurse Marion. I own that mask, that actual.
They should have stuck with that one. I love the Part 6 mask anyway.
Part 6 mask is cool, actually. I just thought George Wilbur looked like shit in the costume. He was all fat. And it didn't look. He had, and that's the thing. They changed. They did the reshoot stuff with A. Michael Lerner, who's thin. So you see him, he looks good, and then you see Wilbur coming, and he looks all, he's got a belly, and it doesn't.
I ate at the Chinese restaurant that day or something. Michael did maybe.
Yeah.
I mean, you notice all this shit, but it's fun to know that somebody else notices it too. Like, the changing.
Well, when I watched H2O again, like I said, it'd been many years since I'd seen it. It was definitely noticeable, the mask thing. I was like, why would they do that? But
I watched it last night. It's horrible. Yeah, when you try to actually like watch it, and you just like he was saying, you see like the different changes in the mask and things like that. It's just really distracting. And even the regular mask is not, the up close mask is not that great. But Jesus, when it gets into the CG stuff, it's pretty horrible.
Yeah. I guess the reason they did that CG mask was because that kid was in the shot and they couldn't get him back to reshoot that scene. I would have just cut him out of it and just, we didn't need to see him in the shot. But
no,
whatever. Some executive decision.
For those people that don't know, though, I'm curious, Sean. Like, what screen used Halloween mask do you own?
I have a screen used Halloween 3 pumpkin. I have a screen used Halloween 5 Myers mask. My Halloween 6 mask is the one that was used in H2O in the opening scene. So that's screen used. I have a K&B H2O that's out of the mold, but wasn't screen used. I have a Winston that was made for the film, but wasn't used on screen. So it's production made, but wasn't I got it directly from Stan Winston Studios. And then I have one of the Resurrection masks that was production made for the film, but wasn't used on screen. There was 15 made for that movie. I don't know why they made so many, but they made 15 for the film. I got one of them. And then I have Chris made me a 2018 mask out of the mold. Did it for me as a Christmas gift. And as far as Myers, I think that might be it. Yeah.
So, not to get anything specific, but how does one acquire masks like that? Like, I mean, it's like you said, in one instance somebody made it, but like for the older ones, like did you like go through like people that worked on the movie, or did like secondhand kind of?
Fucking dog, man. He won't give up until he gets fed. Well, I told you the Greg story.
Yeah.
The pumpkin was a trade with another collector. The part 6 mask that was an H2O, I bought it from a guy that worked for Dimension. And it was so funny. I bought that and a screen used axe from H2O that had a retractable blade. And I wish I still had that. I was fucking sold it like a dumbass when I needed money back in the day. But it's funny is the guy, I don't remember how I got hooked up with him, but he's like, oh yeah, I've got this screen used H2O mask and axe. And I was like, okay. And I went and I met him in a parking lot. I remember it was a 7-Eleven off Wilshire Boulevard, and I paid him cash. I don't remember how much I paid. Couldn't have been that much because I didn't have much money back then. I remember he pulls the mask out, and I looked at it, and I'm like, holy shit, that's a part 6 mask. This fucking guy doesn't realize he's selling me a part 6 mask. And I'm like, I didn't care. I didn't say nothing. I'm like, cool. So I took it thinking I had a screen used part 6 mask until I realized it was the one in H2O in the beginning, because my buddy Brad Harden actually made those masks for John Carl Beekler, and he saw it in person. He goes, oh, this is the one I made for H2O, because it had a wire in the neck. Like the neck is adjustable. Like he laid wire in the latex. So that's how he knew for sure it was the one from H2O. So
that's awesome.
Yeah. So, and then everything else, like I'll tell you the Stan Winston story, how I got the H2O Stan Winston. We were doing Halloween 25 Years of Terror, the convention, right? And and we had every mask from every film to be displayed except for the Winston H2O. And so I contacted Stan Winston Studios. This is when Stan Winston was still alive. And I said, look, this is who I am. We're doing this convention. We have every mask on display. Is there any way we could even get a pull or anything? And they're like, well, the mold was destroyed. Stan, wanted the mold destroyed because, I don't know. Apparently there was a whole thing going on with that mask, how Stan Winston made it on the down low, uncredited. Nobody was supposed to know they did it because Steve Miner and him were friends, and he kind of did it as a favor when they didn't like the K&B version. So he goes, yeah, so we don't have the mold anymore. He goes, but we do have one we made for the movie that we didn't use in the film. That's the only thing we have left. I can let you borrow that. And I was all sweet. So I went down to Stan Winston. They gave me a full tour of the whole place. It was gnarly. I've been to a lot of, effect shops, and that one blew my mind. It was insane how big it was. And they gave it to me on loan. Never asked for it back.
Yeah. Yeah.
One of the videos that I was watching,
he died
last week.
Yep.
Yeah.
You took video footage in '96 of the screen used. It's the only one left, right? That
Dick
everyone
Warlock's
knows about
mask.
the Dick Warlock's mask. Have you tried? He finally sold it to somebody. I don't know how long ago it was, but have you tried to maybe, since you work in the convention business, before he sold it, strike up a deal with him? Because that's kind of, I know you said that was like your holy grail.
Yeah, not anymore because it looks like shit now. It's all deteriorated and falling apart. But, I mentioned it to Dick many times that, how much I wanted it, but I never made a real offer. Somebody came in and threw down crazy cash and bought the whole everything, his jumpsuit, scalpel, boots, mask. So, I missed the boat on that one. I didn't at the time when he sold it. I didn't have the money. I don't think at that time. Maybe I did. I don't remember what year he sold it, but I don't know. I never thought he'd get rid of it. He seemed pretty attached to it. So.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I know at the show, of course, it's been a while. There were some photos last year of the mask, and it is rough. It's in rough shape. But in '96, it looked pretty much like it did in Halloween 2.
Yeah. No, I've got some good photos I took, too. Because that video that you're talking about, it's old video camera. The quality is so-so, but I took some good pictures, yeah. There was some little cracks, in the corner of the eye and the corner of the mouth, but otherwise, it looked pretty good,
We've got somebody in here from Stan Winston Studios. We're going to need that mask back, John.
I believe Stan Winston Studios is done. Actually, I think they still do something maybe they have a school or something. I don't know, but
probably.
But if you can get Stan to call me, I'll be happily give it back.
What's funny is, as Don May told us a story really similar to that about some footage from Nightmare on Elm Street that Wes Craven or somebody loaned him or something like that, and he was just they never asked for it back. He still got it.
I think that even happened with some of the Friday the 13th footage from Part 4 when they were doing the Crystal Lake Memories. I think that happened then too. Kind of they never asked for it back. Well, I think what is it, the statute of limitations or something. It's I've had that fucking mask almost 20 years now. That's crazy to think. Almost 20 years I've had that fucking H2O mask.
It brings up an interesting point too. How do you preserve masks like that? Because the latex will eventually, deteriorate if you don't.
Yeah, you got to keep them in out of sunlight, out of direct light. Fluorescent light is bad for them. Keep them in a cool environment, So the room where I have those in, no sunlight at all, always cool in there. It's like a little crypt. So that's the best way to preserve them. But yeah, it's funny is the Part 5 mask started to get a little. It started to get a little weird. So I used to make masks. So I backed the inside because it was a really thin mask, the Part 5. So I backed the inside with a couple coats of latex, which was going to make it thicker. Well, unfortunately, over time, the latex separated, the old latex separated from the new in a couple spots right here, and it rippled a little bit. But it hasn't cracked or anything, but there's like a weird ripple thing happening right here on one side. And there's nothing I can do about it.
Yeah.
But, like that Kirk mask is like hard, kind of. That Kirk mask I have, like you can tap on it. It's like, it's like, it's kind of almost like preserved. So,
Dry out. As long as you don't squeeze it too hard,
on the floor, it shatter. But
yeah.
Well, those masks back then, they were like really thin latex too, right? So the odds on, like you'd said, there were 3 masks originally for Halloween '78.
yeah.
I think it's kind of odd that nobody has a clue what happened to those other 2 masks. Could John Carpenter have one under his bed or something, or what's the deal, you think?
I may have found the whereabouts of a second mask.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, somebody just clued me in on it, on someone who claims to have one. And that's all I'll say about that.
It's someone that would be in the crew, possibly, or something like that. Would have
it's definitely someone that could have absolutely ended up with it. Yeah. And I mean, who knows if this person would ever be willing to sell it? Who knows what condition it's in? But this person said they have one of those masks. But I haven't spoken to this person. I heard this from a very reliable source.
I'd be curious what that would
now
go
the internet's
for.
probably going to like explode, and everybody's going to be like, "Dude, who has a mask?" And then they're going to leave me alone. But anyway,
it'd be a good YouTube video in the future, maybe.
Oh, believe me, I would fucking capitalize on that shit if I ended up getting it. I'll tell the whole story, fucking trace it back, all that shit. Like I'm working on a video now about that fucking station wagon.
Oh yeah.
I didn't shoot it. Someone else shot it and asked me to host it. And then they sent me the finished version. I didn't like it too much. So I said, why don't you send me all the raw material and I'll put together something a little more cohesive. But there's a whole backstory of that station wagon. And I think it'll be a pretty interesting video to see once it's done.
So it is really the station wagon from the movie.
Yeah, who the fuck would try to fake that? I mean, my goal in life
who
is
would
to
have
fake
had
the station wagon from fucking Halloween.
It'd be easy to do though if you could just find a station
Not really.
wagon from that
it's a pretty
era.
Obscure car.
Really have kept it in that good of? Did they restore it at all, or was it?
No, totally restored.
I mean, it looks like it's in perfect.
It was really in bad condition. It had been sitting in a barn for like 40 years, like rotting, like rusting, and animals got in it and shit on it and ate the interior. And it was, he put a ton of work into it. There's a whole story behind it, but he tells about how it's traced back to the film. It was a rental car from a studio, like car rental for the movie. And then it went back to a rental house and went to auction, and he traced it to the owner who bought it in back in the day. What's your take on the Unseen Halloween 78 footage? My take is it's awesome. I've seen some of it. Okay. In fact, I was this past weekend, Billy Kirkus, who owns it, came. He lives in Florida. He came to the convention in Phantasm in Orlando, and he showed Nick Castle some of the footage. And we sat there and watched it together. I'd seen the stuff before that he was showing him, mainly the stuff at the end of the movie where he got up and starts dancing and stuff and some funny shit. But yeah.
Why do you think they can't make a deal with that? I mean, to put it on as a
very simple. It's this right here, and they both have valid arguments. Billy paid a lot of money for this footage, and he owns it legally. It was from a storage unit that went to auction. But Malika Cod feels that it's their property because that footage was property of Trancas International, and he feels it should be turned over. Billy just wants, X amount of money for it, which isn't ridiculous. Malik is like, no, we own it. Why should I pay you for it? And he's like, well, no, I ain't going to give it to you. I need to be paid. And he's like, well, you can't do nothing with it because they can't put it out without their permission. So it's just kind of in limbo. So.
What a giant clusterfuck. Just to be like, that could be like one of the coolest, things to put on.
Well, I know we were talking to Don May about it, and he said it's the same thing for Texas Chainsaw Massacre. There's footage that's never been seen. Yeah. I can't remember where he said it was at. It was some library or something that had it. But
it was the school. I mean, it was the what's that school in Austin?
The university or something.
Yeah, they're the one that houses all that material and stuff.
And why won't they release it?
I can't remember what he said. I thought that was odd because Halloween and Texas Chainsaw Massacre both get like re-releases every other year, it seems like.
Yeah, so I mean, I just feel like if Malik and Billy could come to an agreement, that is a fucking well he could go to edition after edition, put a little bit in each one. Every Halloween fan would keep buying it, More footage, more unreleased footage,
Yeah,
I mean, if it's you'd make your money back 1,000 times. Maybe not 1,000 times, but you'd make your money back and a ton more,
Yeah.
And it sounds like you could even almost make a documentary just on that footage.
You could. That's something Billy and I talked about, the fact that you could just put all that footage together and have like Dean Cundy and Ray Stella and some of the, people that worked on the film talk about the production and what yep.
He's the one. He's who you're talking about.
He's got Moran.
I pray to God that's true.
I got the mask here, Sean. It's got a deal.
Yeah. Oh man. God. That's a whole nother, man. What a fucking shit show that guy's turned into.
Yeah, that's a fucking nightmare. It's great, but it's a nightmare.
That's a nightmare that won't leave me alone. I don't want nothing to do with the guy, but he needs a fucking excuse for every homophobic, racist thing he spews. Somehow I made him do it,
Yeah.
So I'm the one that made Tyler Maine his cocksucker. It was me. Okay.
Foz Rotten's got a buddy. Since he just posted a comment, it reminded me. He is getting married by Tony in Williamson, West Virginia.
Oh, God.
Up.
Wow.
He told the
Why
story.
would you do that? Why the fuck would you do that? I mean, I can find a guy on the street corner that
is, the Danzig drumhead behind you signed by Chuck Biscuit.
No, it's not signed by Chuck Biscuits. It's signed by, it was a gift from Johnny Kelly, and it's signed by Johnny, London May, and Steve Zing. Glenn didn't even sign it. But I do have a Sam Hain drumhead signed by Glenn, London, Steve Zing, and the guy that was playing guitar for him during that reunion. I don't remember his name. He wasn't one of the original members. But... No, I don't have a Chuck Biscuits autograph. I wish I did. One of my favorite drummers. But Tony Moran doing, apparently he wouldn't come back to Halloween 2 because he ain't no puppet and he ain't gonna wear a mask to be in the fucking movie. But he'll marry you. He'll put the whole getup on. He'll marry you.
You know how many times he said in that video, he said something to the effect of, and I didn't even go to the fucking premiere. And like everybody's just like quiet. And he keeps saying it over and over again to get like something. I'm just like, dude, stop.
Everything that comes out of his mouth is for the purpose of trying to get a reaction. He's so insignificant. He has no stories because he doesn't remember anything. Dude, I was the first guy that ever interviewed him. He didn't remember anything. All the stories he tells are other people's stories that he's heard. And the only way he can keep himself relevant is by making up shit like John Carpenter beats Deborah Hill. I mean, it's,
we saw that. We're like, okay, so when I watched that the first time, I was like, is he really saying that? Like, because that's slanderous kind of shit. Like, you can't just say that.
and you're such a hero to bring this up 40 years later.
Yeah.
Good. Why did you keep it to yourself for 40 years? Wow, you're a real hero, Tony. Anyway, enough talking about him.
Yeah.
What about Danielle Harris, though? I mean, what in the hell was the deal with that? Like, was she just bored at a convention, or it was like, okay,
I'll be honest with you. I mean, I don't want to get in the middle of that.
I'm sure.
I don't think she saw the whole video.
I don't think so either.
I think she saw the part where he was bad mouthing the fans, which was, I will admit, I agree with him. It looked like it was edited to make him look bad. I agreed. But the shit he said after that, the fucking homophobic stuff and the Deborah Hill getting beaten by John Carpenter and all that other shit, that wasn't edited. That came right out of his mouth, And that stuff I thought was worse than the stuff he said about the fans, in my opinion. But yeah, I think she just saw the beginning or heard about it and was defending him, not knowing the other shit. But I don't know. Yeah, she kind of backpedaled pretty hard the next day.
Yeah, we haven't got that watched along with Tony and her house.
That never happened, did it?
That'd be so great.
I
would pay to see that on like pay-per-view. Them just watching fucking Rob Zombie's Halloween. Yes, do
he
that.
Used to always say he was very vocal about how he would never watch that piece of shit. I'm never gonna watch that piece of shit.
Yeah,
But no, I'll go watch it at your house with you.
Yeah, but he thinks the original's a piece of shit. So what's he even talking about?
When did he become a good fella? That's what I've always wondered, because he didn't always have that.
When did he become a biker? I mean,
Right.
Dude was like wearing a fucking polo shirt and was working at a mortgage company when I met him, and suddenly he gets introduced to the horror world and he's tatted up, and now I'm got a vest and I'm a badass, Whatever, cool, I you can go play Sons of Anarchy at your conventions and, talk about how you're Michael Myers. It's all good.
I'm just glad it's all over now and he's marrying people in West Virginia, so that's nice.
Yeah, God bless him. Yeah,
It's a nice
now that
end
you
to that
found
story.
Jesus and you're marrying people.
At it's the South Williamson Mall in West Virginia.
Good.
Which
It's
when you
even
say
better.
that, it kind of but it's a mall that
He's
has
marrying
no
people at a
stores.
mall?
It has like maybe 2 stores.
He's marrying people at a mall? Is he really marrying people at a mall?
I'm gonna choke to death.
I heard he was doing at like some like a old mental hospital or some shit.
Yeah, there's like somebody over there bought an abandoned hospital that they now claim is haunted, and they were getting him to go over there and do marriages, which is such
Haunted
an
by
odd
bad
combination.
marriage things.
Yeah.
Haunted by Tony Moran's fucking looking like George Wilbur in the costume now, trying to fucking marry people.
But you were the one that found him, right? I mean, nobody knew.
Yeah, thanks a lot.
Carpenter didn't even know his name, I think, in one of the documentaries back in the day.
Oh no, John, that's a thing. John Carpenter said he didn't even remember ever meeting the guy, but yeah, I found him. My fault I'm like Dr. Frankenstein. I created the monster, the convention monster. And, it's a thing, man. I ain't got no problem with the dude. I really don't care. Like, the guy is totally insignificant to me. I mean, the whatever beef he had with me was like 15 years ago. Let it go, man. Just own up to the shit you said. That's the thing, I watched all that stuff. He never once actually apologized for anything he said. He just kept saying how, he was put in a bad light, and and he kept pointing fingers. Like, apparently he told Danielle told me that he said, I'm the guy that made the video. Sean Clark did it. Sean Clark's trying to ruin me. Dude, I got way too much shit to do than care about your ass. No thank you.
To be honest with you, he was already ruined anyway. He wasn't doing hardly any shows, right? I mean, maybe a couple here and there.
I mean, I'm not the one that told him to say the shit he said. I'm not the one that told him to make up bullshit stories. How is it my fault? Whatever. The guy is the dude's got issues. clearly alcohol
Yeah.
is a big problem. You know, and I don't know. I love you, Tony. God bless you. Go marry some more people. Get that money. Get that money, player.
Drink some water.
Oh, fuck.
What about physical media, though? Getting back into the collection, or do you, when it comes to movies and stuff like that, do you kind of go crazy there, or?
I've really reeled that in. Just stuff that if you look that, I picked up that Dawn of the Dead set back there. We just got that new Steelbook American Psycho that came out just because it was so cool looking. It's just a really cool package. But for the most part, there's got to be something on it. It's got to be some sort of upgrade. There's got to be something. I mean, I bought the Scream Factory shit that's coming out 1 through 5, even though I let them use my Horror's Hallowed Grounds on there again. I had to buy them. I didn't get no favoritism. I definitely won't get any after they watch this video. But anyway, I mean, I don't buy like I used to. I mean, I miss the days of going to Best Buy and going crazy, but I pretty much got all the shit I want. I don't really, unless, something really cool comes out, but, I don't really go for too much of the new shit anymore.
There is a new 4K of Ticks that's coming out here, and
4K of Ticks.
Vinegar Syndrome,
I love how you just casually dropped that in there like it was something fucking serious.
which you'll have to grab
4K
that
of
one
Ticks.
for sure.
Nah, I don't even know if I got the standard of Ticks.
You don't need
Do
it.
I have that? Unless they sent it to me for free. Who put that out?
I think the Blu-ray was Olive Films, if I'm not mistaken.
Nope, don't own Ticks.
Well, there you go.
Yeah.
Sorry, Amy Dolans.
So aside from the mask and the physical media, though, you got some killer props too. I know that.
Yeah.
You got, if I'm not mistaken, the clown from Poltergeist, and a couple other things too that are pretty big name.
Got the
things
Resonator from Beyond.
That's right. Yeah.
I got Ajax's vest from the Warriors and his belt and belt buckle.
Now was
I
that
got the
James
chainsaw.
Remar?
What's that?
Was that James Remar that kind of hooked you up with that, or was that?
Yes. I wouldn't. I mean, I paid for it. But
Well, yeah.
I mean,
Yeah.
But I got the chainsaw from 2 and 3. Texas Chainsaw Massacre 2 and 3.
Super chat here. Somebody's asking what your favorite. Anthony is asking what your favorite piece is in your collection.
Probably the clown, because it's one of the first pieces, one of the first significant pieces I got, and it was one of the very few like really good scores. I mean, nowadays you're getting fucking raked over the coals for everything because everybody knows shit's worth stuff now. But that I paid $3,500 for that clown, and that was back in 2000, I think, or 99 or 2000, something like that. But I mean, that thing's worth a lot more now. And then one of my favorites is the Funhouse. I have the Funhouse creature head, teeth, hands, and the Frankenstein mask from the Funhouse. I bought those from Wayne Doba, who played the freak Gunther. Those are some of my faves.
From working at the Convention All-Stars thing for the past, what has it been, like 20 years almost, I guess.
Started in 2005.
Okay, so
16.
Yeah. Have you gotten any gifts from people? Because you make these people a lot of money. You help them make quite a bit of money. Anything prop related or?
Yes. Just the other day, Nick Castle gave me his Halloween Kills crew hoodie, which was cool. Devin Sawa sent me a Chucky crew hoodie from the new series. The coolest thing Nick gave me was he gave me his original Halloween script. I have his original script.
Wow.
Jesus Christ. Yeah.
obviously being, Chris Nelson has become one of my closest friends. And, knowing that I'm a big Halloween nerd, he's been hooking me up, with a lot of stuff. So I've been bestowed quite a few things from Halloween and Halloween Kills, little bits and pieces here and there. And obviously him making me a mask from the mold. Pretty cool. As far as other gifts, Miles Chapin, I still don't know why he gave this to me because didn't really know him that well. He played oh God, what was his character's name? And the guy in the fun house with the glasses, let's stay in the fun house. What was his fucking name in that movie? Anyway, he gave me his glasses that he wore in the movie.
Oh, that's cool.
Tommy Lee Wallace gave me a crew mug from Halloween 3 and Stephen King's It. So I've gotten some stuff like that. And then obviously the opportunity to, kind of have first dibs on buying some of the higher ticket items from people. Like I just bought from Tommy Lee Wallace, Father Malone's journal from the Fog, and his radio that was in his chamber.
Yeah.
Yeah, he had that, so he just threw that in. But the journal that he, it's all handwritten. The whole thing is handwritten by the crew. It's pretty cool. I've seen it. See, I don't have it yet. I bought it. I haven't actually physically got it. He's been holding it because I bought it and then COVID happened, and we haven't seen each other in a while. And I don't want him to ship it. I want him to hand it to me. I'm too nervous to have it shipped.
Yeah.
I don't blame you there. Yeah, you had a guy for the Kirk mask. You had him like personally hold the mask in, on his lap and everything on the plane ride to your house, I guess.
I told that dude, this is what I'll pay, but you're delivering it to my front door. So you're not putting that shit in the mail. Yeah. So
how rare is it that one of those comes available? I mean, how often do you see one?
You don't. That's the thing. I mean, I only know of a couple that even exist. And to my knowledge, every one of them's foam filled except for mine. People ask me if I'm going to have mine foam filled, and I say no, because once you foam fill a mask, it's not a mask anymore. It becomes a prop. I want to be able to look in it and it's hollow, it's an actual mask. Plus I also notice when people foam fill it, they tend to, they swell up a little bit and they can get distorted. So are you feeding them? Okay, thanks. I'll take care of that problem. And,
I know you're good friends with Nick Castle.
Yeah, we've actually become really, really close. Like, it's kind of a trip.
So the movies that he directed, does he talk about those much? Because, a lot of people may not even realize some of the, Last Starfighter, The Boy Who Could Fly, which I think is a very underrated movie.
Dennis
the Menace. The Dennis the Menace
Major
movie,
Pain.
Major Pain.
Yep.
Wrote Skate Town, USA, which we went to a screening of a couple weeks ago.
So the original Michael Myers, The Shape, made those movies. I just think it's very interesting, and I haven't really heard him talk a whole lot about those movies.
No, he talks about them. I mean, if you watch when we had him on our show on Thing with Two Heads, we got into a lot of his into his directing stuff pretty deep in the interview. And fans come up, like this past weekend at Phantasm is probably the most Last Starfighter fans we've ever seen at one convention. There's a lot of people loving Last Starfighter. And Major Pain has kind of gotten a lot of love recently too. I think it has a resurgence, and maybe it's on Netflix or something. I don't know, but
could be.
And he directed Tap with Gregory Hines. He wrote Hook. If you knew that, the Steven Spielberg movie Hook. He's pretty accomplished, and it was so funny because I was trying to get him to do conventions forever, and he just because he felt like, here I am, an accomplished writer director. You know, he also co-wrote Escape from New York. You know,
Yep.
And he didn't want to be known as just a dude in a mask. And now he's happy to be known as the dude in the mask. You know, so.
Well, that's the thing though, with him, though. I'm sure that there's a lot more people that come up. I'm sure there's a lot of people that come up and for Michael Myers. But I'm betting that they also know, too, that he's a director and has done like a lot of things. You know,
not many.
Some of them. Really?
It's fun. What's funny is so many people, because I have a banner, right? And, you know, it has Michael Myers on it, Halloween. But then I put like, I put like the posters, you know, Major Payne and Last Starfighter. So many times people go, they look at the banner and they go, "Who were you in Last Starfighter?" And he's like, "I wrote and directed it." You know, I'm not in it. And they're like, "You directed it?" "Yeah, I'm a director." You know, they trip out. They don't know. You know.
I think Tony's so drunk that he forgot your name.
Oh man, yeah. That's how insignificant I am to him. He can't remember my name.
No.
I like the little tears drop. That was
that's whoever that fucking guy is amazing. that does it.
So on your YouTube page, though, another video that I've watched it over and over and over again, just kind of captivated by it, was the Tommy Lee Wallace. Yep. I'll admit it. Couple times.
Which one do you like to rub it out to?
The
Tommy Lee Wallace one?
The Tommy Lee Wallace, with the recreating the mask from 78. So Tommy Lee, as well, a lot of people may not realize, had a band with, I don't know if they toured or anything, but they had an album.
Vince Neil and Nikki Sixx.
Yeah, different Tommy Lee.
Oh, okay.
Because I remember when we interviewed him, probably 15 years ago, he was talking about the Coupe de Villes, but they made I guess they kind of it's a self-made record, right? What are the odds on like a record store day version of that? I would love to see that.
John Carpenter seems to have no interest in ever putting that out. I asked him about it. I said, dude, you know, in one of my multi times I've interviewed him for Scream Factory releases, because I did almost every one of his fucking Scream Factory movies. I said, you know, you're so tied in with Sacred Bones. Why don't you have them re-release the Coupe de Villes record? And he's like, nah. He just blew me off. Like, nah. And it's actually, I don't know if you've heard it. It's on YouTube. You listen. It's actually a good record. It's actually pretty good. Nothing to be ashamed of. It's not corny. You know?
Yeah, I was just thinking, though, that would be perfect for like a record store day release or something
Totally.
like that. Yeah.
Just trying to figure out what Carpenter does give a shit about anymore. He's like, fucking video games and weed, I guess, at this point. And why not? Yeah.
That's what he cares about.
Yeah.
Money. As Ken Foray would say. Manja.
That's right.
See, I've got... Let me see. I'll grab the record. Hold on. I'm right here. Let's see. There it is.
I know you had some extra copies of it too. You were I don't remember how much they went for. I'm guessing quite a bit. Oh, it's autographed.
Cool. That's awesome. Yeah.
Yeah. The story Tommy Lee Wallace said is he said that when they made this, that he said if they ever autograph it, they have to write "Love Ya." So Tommy signed it first, and he said it was an agreement they all three had. Tommy signed it first, then Nick signed it, and then when I brought it to John, I said, "Hey, Tommy said that you guys had this agreement. You have to write 'Love Ya.'" And between you and me, I don't think John likes me very much. So he was like, I mean, he was very reluctant.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah. Sealed.
Wow.
Still sealed. Look at that. Still sealed.
That is insane.
Sell that one.
There's
on
one
eBay
on Discogs right now for $3,000 if you want to buy one.
Nah, I'll pass on that.
I'm good.
Yeah.
I'll listen to
worth
it on
it.
YouTube.
Yeah. I mean, could this one be pried away from me? Probably. So.
So, I know you probably don't want to give us a number.
Uh-oh.
But
Yep,
what item was the highest? What did you pay the most for?
I can't say what it is because I said I wouldn't ever say what I paid for it. To the person who sold it to me said not to say, but 50 grand.
God damn, Sean.
Holy shit. That's some of that Norman Reedus money.
It's some
Well,
Reedus bucks.
I have a stormtrooper helmet. Oh, so there's that item. Then I have a stormtrooper helmet from Force Awakens. That was 50. The chainsaw from Part 3, I think, ended up being 36,000. And I think the chainsaw from Part 2 was like 34,000.
That's a deal, really.
Dude, they rape you on those the fees on those auction houses. So I think I got the I think those chainsaws were like 25 grand. And then with all the tax and buyer premium and not nonsense they add to it, next thing you know, your bill's like 10 grand more. So they really bend you over. So if you can get stuff away from an auction site, a lot better.
Matt was asking about Halloween 3. You mentioned the pumpkin mask. Mm-hmm. Anything else prop-wise you've got from Halloween? I know that's one of your favorites.
Just that mask and the crew mug that Tommy gave me, which it's cool. It has the orange pumpkin on one side from the TV flashing. The other side has the Silver Shamrock Novelties logo, and then on the cup, it's in the mug. It's not hand done, but it says there's a message from Tommy Lee Wallace, and it's autographed. I forgot what it says. I can go get it if you want to see it, but I forgot what it says.
Let's see it.
Okay.
If it's not good.
Yeah, we'll bullshit on here. It's kind of weird, though. We were talking about Friday the 13th, Part 5, and Halloween 3. They're kind of similar in that for years and years and years, they were like the most despised sequels in either franchise. But over the last, I don't know if it's been the last 10 years. There it is.
That's awesome. Look at that.
And then many thanks, Tommy Lee, Halloween 3, 1982.
Jesus.
Awesome.
Yeah. And he gave me an It one that's similar. It's got a lot of writing on it. Like he wrote a long thing on it, but it's black with red lettering.
He's a great guy too. He's one of our favorite interviews that we ever did back in the day on the show. But what we were saying though, like Friday 13th Part 5, Halloween 3, those movies back in the day, hated, despised, they were the worst sequels in the whole franchise. And then I don't know if it was the past 10 years or what the deal is. Now they're almost becoming the favorites of
Part 3 is definitely. Part 5, I think in the last couple of years is started to get a lot of love. Friday 5. I always liked Friday 5. Even back when I saw it in the theater, I wasn't one of those people that was all bent out of shape that it wasn't Jason. It's like, I hate to break it to you, none of them are really Jason. It's a dude in a hockey mask. Yeah. You know what I mean? Yeah. It's like you get all hung up on the semantics about it, but it's not really him. He's doing the same shit, looks the same. He's got the mask. He's doing, and it's one of the fucking more violent films too. Part 5. Mm-hmm.
It's one of the more entertaining ones too, really. And the main cast is super entertaining in it as opposed to the others. If you think,
yeah, you got Ethel and Junior. You got fucking Miguel Nunez and the enchiladas, and you got the fucking chick doing the robot dance, and there's some there's some classic moments, man.
Yeah, for sure. But I am glad that both of those movies are kind of getting more love because we talked about it. I mean, Friday 5 in particular, because like we were saying, that movie for years, oh man, it's not really Jason. Fuck that movie, And the video store guy here in Prestonsburg, Halloween 3, I ended up not even seeing Halloween 3 until I was probably 16, 17 years old because of that motherfucker. He was like, "Oh, you don't want to fucking see that. Michael Myers isn't even in a damn thing, So
was that Kenny? It had to be Kenny.
Kenny Music.
Yeah. All right.
I have a story from. I went to see Halloween 3 in the theater with my aunt Robin. She took me, and she took me to see Halloween 2. I saw Halloween 2 with her in a double feature with the Funhouse, and I was so excited to see Halloween 3. And we went, and this movie started, and we're getting into it, and I'm like, where the fuck is Michael Myers? Because back in the day, you didn't have the internet. Nobody knew. You went and you saw the shit. And I was like, are we in the right movie? I was really confused. I'm like, I think we're in the wrong movie. And it was like, no, we're in the right movie. I'm like, where the fuck is Michael Myers? And then he's on the fucking commercial on the TV. I'm like, what? What is going on? I was so confused. So I left that theater hating that movie. I was pissed. But it took me a while to come back to it. I was one of those people that I went back to it fairly soon after and appreciated and liked it, and I've defended it forever, and now everybody, like you said, is a big fucking circle jerk around Halloween 3. But back in the day, I was fighting with people all the time saying, no, Halloween 3 as a standalone film is a great film,
Yeah, so. I'm gonna start championing Texas Chainsaw 4.
That's like the best in the series.
We just watched that one and again, and it's off the chain, literally off the chain.
Dude, Matthew McConaughey is kind of awesome in it though. He's like a fucking out of his mind Wooderson, Like if Wooderson got all fucked up.
He stomps on the woman with the mechanical leg or whatever, and it's it's great.
Vilmer. The thing that ruins 4 is the weird transvestite Leatherface that is not scary at all. Just kind of just looks like some fat ugly lady.
When when Renee Zellweger's sit down and shut the fuck up or whatever, it just becomes a parody, way too much of a parody at that point.
Yeah,
it's kind of silly.
It's not good. It's not good, that's for sure. But it's entertaining. I mean, I don't know, is it better or worse than some of the other ones that came later? I don't know.
Well, it's kind of on par, maybe.
Yeah, I think it's a little bit better maybe than some of the... But
I haven't seen the new one, but that last one with Steven Dorff was kind of...
Oh, God.
What was that? Yeah.
I was watching it on, I think it was on the Sci-Fi Channel or something like that for literally probably 20, 25 minutes, and I didn't even realize it was a Texas Chainsaw movie. I didn't know what the fuck it was. Halloween Kills, though, opens in almost a week. You said that you got an early screening. How long ago did you see it?
About a month ago, I think.
Okay. Thumbs. I mean, I know you probably can't. You probably can't even give thumbs up or thumbs down. But do you think the fans will?
I think the fans will enjoy it. I have issues with it. I'll get into. Chris and I are gonna have a heavy discussion on it once the movie comes out, and we can legally talk about it. But it's got things about it that bother me, but overall, I think the fans are going to be happy with it. I liked it better than 2018, and I didn't think 2018 was terrible. I thought, I enjoyed 2018. I also have issues with that movie. But I think, clearly so many spoilers are out there, everybody knows there's flashback stuff. I think that stuff is really going to excite the fans. That's the stuff that I think the fans are going to really walk away from stoked about. So it looks really good.
Cool. I think the opening credits of the 2018 one, there's no way I could have hated that movie just based on the opening credits. Like, it was just, I saw an IMAX theater, so it looked freaking amazing.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, I'm looking
The
forward
Dr.
to it.
Sartain stuff is what killed that movie for me. You got that whole thing with him was just stupid. And I didn't like them taking away the not brother and sister thing. I just thought that's a bad move. It just takes away his motivation, you know? Like, why is he still going after this chick? You know?
Well, we were just talking about the different timelines from the movie not too long ago. And it is kind of crazy, though, how many different variations they've gone to, you know, when they went to H2O and they still kept some but left out the others. And then, you know, when they went 2018, they just kept like the first one. They didn't even acknowledge the second one whatsoever. Which some people like that, and then some people like say that that's not the move.
Well, that's the thing. You should have left in the part two should have been part of it. You know, I don't know if it's just that they didn't want to deal with a burn makeup, you know, are they being lazy? I don't know, but I just, you know, because if you think about this whole like thing, how they made Lori so disturbed and she's got all these traps and all this shit. She's ready for like Michael Myers apocalypse. Why? Because he killed 6 people 40 years ago. Why is that? Well, it's not that big a deal. It's not that big a deal, you know, by today's standards. That's a big fucking deal, you know? So if you had kept like part 2 where he massacred a whole fucking hospital and shit, then yeah, that makes him a little more threatening. And, you know, the brother sister thing. That's another thing, you know, like this whole thing in Halloween Kills, like as you can see in the trailer, they're doing this whole thing like the town is coming after him, you know, evil dies tonight and all this. Well, why would you really? Most of these people wouldn't even remember that shit that happened, you know, 40 years ago. It's like killed a couple people. Big deal, you know. What did he kill? The mechanic, fucking Bob, PJ, Nancy Loomis. That's 4 people. A dog. Is that it? 5 people? Am I forgetting somebody?
Right.
Yeah, he ate the dog.
He ate the dog. I mean, that's 5 people. What is that's no big deal. That's not nothing to be building a fucking trap in your basement and all this shit, you know.
It seems like the franchise has been doing that lately. Like they just want to forget about everything and just go back to, and like they call it. That fucking annoys me more than anything. It's just called Halloween, like the 2018 one. Like that's just
choose your own
lazy.
adventure.
Yeah.
Of horror.
One thing I was going to ask you, maybe you would know this, talking about the timelines between the movies and all that. I had heard that, I don't know if they had shot it, maybe you know, there was a scene in H2O that connected 4, 5, and 6 to H2O with, I think it was a classroom scene or something like that, where they're talking about the Jamie Lloyd character. Have you heard anything about that?
First I've ever heard of it. I think it's probably bullshit.
Probably. I saw it on IMDb one time and I was like, that would be very interesting because they could easily do that. But
well, let's look at some of these questions because there's like a ton of them over here.
Let's bang through some questions.
Here you go, Sean. What is one location you wish you could do a horse hailer ground that you can't get into or is no longer there?
Oh shit! I'm getting texts about. I'm reading a text from a friend of mine who's commenting on shit I'm saying on this. I didn't realize he's watching. Hi, Ian. Glad you agree with me. What is one location you wish you could do that you can't get into or is no longer there? That's fucking tough. That I can't get into. I mean, I eventually seem to get in everywhere eventually. I mean, I'd love to get inside some of these houses I've never been in. But as far as stuff that's not there anymore, that's tough. I know there's got to be something. I can't think
come
anything off
back
the top
to
of
it,
my head.
maybe.
I would have loved to seen Max's house before it got destroyed, stuff like that. There's always something that's been destroyed or moved or but nothing's jumping out at me at the moment.
Hydroponic wants you to show your chainsaws immediately.
Man, they're heavy. They're upstairs and they're heavy. Watch my video. I got a video where I show them. I talk about it.
Yeah, you've got
a function
like
on YouTube. Huh?
I was looking at the fucking the posters because I was into that for a while. I mean, they're a little bit too expensive now. Luckily, I got most of that stuff back when it was kind of affordable. But all of your shit is autographed. That's what I was looking at. I was like, holy shit.
I was a real autograph nerd, like in the early, convention days, man. I was really into it. I every once in a while I'll break a poster out for somebody. Like I took my Elm Street poster. I have this Turkish Elm Street poster signed by just about everybody. And I took it out of the frame and brought it with me to Horror Hound because I had the two girls, the jumping rope. I had them there and I'd never met them before. And then I knew that Mimi Craven, Wes's ex-wife who played the nurse in Elm Street, was going to be at Phantasm last weekend. So I kept it out until I met her. So now I got to put it back. I think I got just about everybody on there now. I don't think there's, unless it's some background classroom kid or something at this point. But yeah, no, I was really into the autograph thing for a while. But not so much anymore. Like sometimes it depends, like if it's something a lot of these posters are posters I started getting signed in 1989. And if there's, I'm missing one or two people, I'll go, fuck it, I'll bring it. But for the most part, I don't do it too much anymore. But I encourage everybody else to buy autographs.
Buy that shit.
I'm putting T-Money's $20 into my next convention fund. That'll get me half of an autograph right there, but I appreciate it, sir.
There you go.
The one thing, too, that we were curious about, maybe you would know, I don't see too many screen-used Jason hockey masks. What's the rarity of those? Are those kind of hard to come by, or?
Yeah, they're hard to come by, but they're also very hard to verify because they're so easily replicated. There's a lot of fakes out there of everything. You got to be careful in the prop world. It's hard. That's another thing. Is that so many people are good at replicating things nowadays that a lot of bogus shit gets passed off as real stuff. So I've been fooled before too. If you watch that collection complete video I did with that company Gemmer on the Warriors vest, I tell a whole story about how I was sold a fake one and had it hanging on my wall for like 5 years, thought it was the real thing. And then I found out I'd been duped.
Shit.
Yeah, I would imagine, the hockey masks and stuff, because that's a whole big thing. People take screenshots and everything and try to get it right down to the, little smudge on the corner of the mask or whatever. So,
it's tough with like latex masks because, an old latex mask is going to have wear and age. You can tell that it's old. You couldn't just pour up a new one and say, oh, this was used in Halloween. Nobody would believe you because it's too new. It's, the vacuform plastic hockey masks, those will last forever. And, it's easy to fake, So I don't know. That's a tough one, man. I don't own a screen used hockey mask. That's one of the things. I have a real Hellraiser box. I have a real Phantasm sphere. I have a couple real chainsaws from Texas Chainsaw Massacre. I got Myers masks. I do not have a real Freddy glove. I do not have a real hockey mask. So those are kind of my two bucket list pieces. But also those Freddy gloves are easy to fake too. Those guys that make amazing ones now. You got to really do your research and trace it back to where it came from.
Cool.
And even then, you could probably be fooled too, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Well,
Right.
Back in time, on a Saturday in editing room of any horror movie to correct a mistake, what horror movie mistake would you want to correct? That's an interesting one.
A horror movie mistake. Okay, I got it. Not using Nick Castle's face in the original Halloween.
God.
That would be a good one.
Yeah, it's pretty
There you
perfect. Yeah.
What was the story behind that? Why didn't he? I mean, why'd they bring somebody in just for that shot? It's kind of weird.
According to Tony Moran, it's because Carpenter thought his friend Nick was too goofy looking.
Goofy looking fucker.
I know. I think it's a mistake. I think it's a mistake they ever showed Myers' face, to be honest with you. They should have never shown the face. You should have showed the mask coming off and seen Laurie's reaction, and then cut to him pulling it back over, and you never really see it. I'd rather that. I'd rather keep the mystique, you know?
Oh,
not just because I don't like Tony. I'd rather have not seen the face, you know?
Yeah, that's true. I think that's the only time you really, as far as the original series goes, you
see him a little bit in part 5. You see Don Shank's face a little in part 5.
Yeah, is that the same where he starts crying or something, or it's alluded that he's it's fucking good. I remember seeing that as a kid, and I was like, "What the fuck?"
He's crying.
And why does Michael Myers look like an Indian dude?
Yeah.
And Don Shanks, he takes I guess he has one of the masks that he takes with him to the convention appearances and stuff. So that's pretty cool. I like when they do that in shows.
Yeah, he's got the other one, I guess. I don't know how many. That's another mystery. You never know how many they made for some of these movies. But as far as part 5 masks, the only ones I know that exist are mine and his. And his started to do the same shit mine was doing, and he had to have it restored. He sent it to Tom Spina, who has done some restoration work for me. He did both my killer clown heads. Those are a couple things I really like in my collection too. Those killer clown heads are really cool.
Oh yeah, it's very cool. They're doing stuff for Spirit Halloween now for killer clowns. That's really
isn't it crazy how that movie has suddenly had this crazy resurgence? I love it. It's great because I've always loved that movie. But now, why haven't we had a sequel or a series or something? That movie deserves it. That one and Trick or Treat. There's all this Sam merchandise everywhere. What happened to that sequel they announced 5-6 years ago?
Yeah.
I have no. That's just the weirdest thing. I wonder about that all the time because they officially announced it, right?
That movie is like a classic now. I mean, I don't know how it did when it came out, but it's definitely a cult classic now.
Well,
there's no
it
reason.
didn't do well at all because Warner Brothers basically shelved it for 2 years, and they didn't bring it out in the theaters. They just released it on video, and they didn't push it or nothing. It really didn't get. If it had gotten a proper release, I think it would have been an instant classic. But I'm actually seeing Michael Dougherty on Saturday, so I'm going to ask him what the fuck is going on Trick or Treat 2.
Yeah, I'd be curious about that too, for sure. Because I can remember that, the movie, there was photos and everything online before it, and it's supposed to get a theatrical release. I don't know if it was the Saw phenomena at the time where they just didn't want to bring it out. That was kind of Saw's.
I can't remember exactly what happened, but I remember it. They had its premiere at, I think it was Scarefest in L.A. I went to that premiere, and we were all just blown away. Wow, this is going to be the next big thing. And then it sat for 2 years and didn't come out. And we were just like, where is this movie? This movie was amazing. Why is this not out? And then it just quietly put on DVD. Just, with no fanfare. So. And
then Krampus got a big release. It got a theatrical run, right? So
yeah, and Krampus was all right, but it wasn't as good as,
Well, we appreciate you taking the time out. I know we've had you on here for 2 hours, but it's been fun. Almost 2 hours.
This is just poppycock. How long I've been on here.
It's just,
I'm trying to bring that word back. I want people to start saying poppycock more often.
Well, one last one here. T-Money's got a good one. What would you value your collection at? What's it worth? Well, I'm sure you've got insured, so you probably have a...
I really don't know an actual dollar amount. If I had to guess, a couple million. I don't know. I'm guessing. I don't know. It sounds super pretentious saying that. I just feel like
the fact is too, like you've been collecting this stuff your entire life as well.
Yeah.
So the movie poster thing, adding all that in, the screen use stuff, which a lot of it you probably got before, anybody, like the Myers 5 mask. So,
it's funny is like, I don't know if either of you guys are on Discogs. You know what Discogs is? Mm-hmm. Okay, he does. He doesn't. Okay, Discogs is the website where you catalog your entire record collection, record CDs, any music media. I know they have that for DVDs and Blu-rays too. I don't belong to those, but just on my record collection alone, it gives you a value of what it's worth based on market value. And my record collection alone said it's like worth 175 grand, just my records. So I, with my props and my toys and my posters and all that shit, who knows, man? I don't, I'm just throwing a number out there. I don't know. It's
what I like too on the posters, because I've got this on a lot of mine too. Most of the posters you have personalized, right?
Yeah. People get all fucking weird about that. Like, dude, I can't believe you fucking killing the value. I was like, dude, I'm not selling it. I'm not. I don't give a fuck what happens to that poster after I die. It's not my problem anymore. You know what I mean? It's like I did a video, one of my collection videos where I had an original copy of the very first pressing of Motley Crue's Too Fast for Love, right? Incredibly rare record, sealed. Paid $2,500 for it. And I, on film, opened it and played it. So many people still message me and like cussing me out for opening a record. It's like, you know what, motherfucker? I'm not selling it. Why should I keep a sealed record? I can't play it. I can't enjoy it. I'm not buying it to sell it. I'm gonna die with that record. Okay? And then when I'm dead, I don't give a fuck. So
there you go.
Anyway. So that's why I just have that shit personalized.
Oh, I love this question. Scott wants to know. Here you go.
Sean, how did you get rich enough to buy this stuff? It's hydroponic.
I'm so glad he's back. Oh God!
I worked my ass off. I mean, that's the truth. I mean, I've been I'm motivated, man. I got lucky too. I'm not gonna lie. But I've always been a hard worker, and I dumb lucked into a lot of situations, like the whole convention All Stars. That was just a total fluke. I did that literally as a favor to someone, and in the process realized I could get into conventions for free if I represented people. I mean, that was why I did. I was like, wait, I can go to conventions and they're going to fly me out and give me a hotel room? I was like, fucking sign me up. So I started doing it, and I did a good job, and I started making money. And then friends of other actors started calling me. And next thing I know, I've got like this big roster, and I'm making decent money. And then, the Norman Reedus thing was just a fluke, man. Like I said, I was working with him before he ever had Walking Dead. And how did I know he was going to become a superstar? That was that's just dumb luck, So, and I've turned it into a business, I've turned what I love into a legit job, you know? So, I mean, but believe me, nothing was just handed to me. I worked hard for it, you know, and I'm proud of that. So,
Yeah,
although a lot of people hate me.
What the fuck? No, I think the
I haven't heard
Reedus
too many
bucks.
people.
The Reedus bucks are well earned, Sean.
A couple maybe, but yeah, I mean, it's always good to catch up with you. It's been a while since we've talked to you, so and we don't really do the convention thing anymore. But you were one of the guys that helped us out a lot back in the day with interviews and stuff like that, and I definitely thank you for all that. And what's the are you doing the podcast on a regular basis still, and videos and all that, or?
Well, we just don't have as much time. You know, we were trying to do it on a regular basis during COVID, but now he's working. Chris Nelson, who does the podcast with me, he's like busting ass. You know, he just got off of. He's been doing tons of movies. He's working on a Sean Penn movie right now. He's doing prep on Halloween Ends and prep on the Exorcist film, the new Exorcist. I mean, the guy he's busy. He's super busy. And then me, I'm traveling all the time. We're hoping at this point we might be able to get a podcast episode in a month, you know, maybe once a month. It's a lot of work, man. I mean, for example, the Horrors Hollow Ground stuff, I've got about 11 episodes shot that I haven't edited. I just haven't had the time, you know. I get home and I tell myself I'm going to sit down and edit, and my phone starts blowing up and it's work shit, and it's can you see if this guy's available on this weekend, blah blah blah, and you got to book this flight and you need to order these banners. Next thing you know, I'm my whole day is gone, you know, doing work shit. And it's that's why I wish COVID would come back.
I wouldn't worry.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's making a comeback.
You know what? It's like all these, you know, it's like, how is it that Tony Moran survived COVID?
Well, we got
like,
one last Tony Moran dig here.
Yeah, here you go.
How much would you give for a vial of Tony Moran's tears?
$100.
You could put that in the collection. That'd be amazing.
I can't believe you're doing this for me, Danielle. Oh my God.
Now, that was some quality acting right there.
That was great.
That was some good shit. That was it. He's still got the chops.
Yeah. Well, he's supposed to be in Halloween Kills, right? Or is it a flashback thing?
Yeah, it's
flashback. Okay.
It's the clip of him.
Okay.
Yeah.
That's what I was hoping. Yeah, I was like,
and they cut his face out.
Oh, good.
So you just see him
They
choking
blur
for
it.
a second, huh?
They blur his face out.
No, they cut it out. So it's almost like how I said I wished it would have been in the first movie. They cut it that way. So, but he's gonna sign those posters for $40. Bring those Kills posters.
He's going to.
I'm Michael Myers from Halloween Kills and Halloween 2 and the original Halloween.
Got to get a new banner made.
You can get your autograph, or I'll marry you for $40.
Hey, thanks for marrying me, Tony. We signed this picture. Yeah, for another 40. We just did the wedding. Yeah, and
It's going to cost you. You want a photo op? Another $40.
Yep.
All right,
But not a puppet.
We appreciate you coming on here and spending all the time with us, though, and we'd love to have you back at some point. It's always fun speaking with you and everything.
Hopefully it'll be like the Tony Moran Memorial Show.
It's possible.
It could happen.
He probably hasn't been vaccinated. I would
about guarantee it.
Kidding me?
Jesus.
He definitely strikes me as one of those guys that's probably marching at the Trump rallies and with the fucking in the back of the pickup truck with the giant American flag, you know.
Yep.
We're riding on him. He's riding his motorcycle.
Cranking up the Kid Rock on the stereo.
Yeah. All right, but we appreciate it, and we will definitely have you back on whenever you're busy and everything. But these shows are always fun.
Yeah, absolutely. It's always good to get on here and talk shit with you guys. 'Cause that's what I enjoy the most about. I'll be honest with you. That's why I love your guys' show, because I'll just watch you guys just shit all over everything. It's great.
Well, you
kind of
You
our
don't
thing.
give a shit.
The
I mean,
Screen Factory episode, we go over the whole knot breed thing from a few years ago. That was on one of the last live streams that we did. You might want to check that out if you're bored one day.
Is that one good?
It's pretty good. I saved a voicemail, so that's on there.
Oh, did they called you?
No, that was when. Do you remember the knot breed thing where they were asking for the?
Yeah.
They were asking for the copies back. They'd sent the wrong version of knot breed. You don't remember that?
Oh, no.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah. I mean, you'll have to check that out then for sure, because they would actually call their customers back and say, "Hey, we're sending you a box. We'd like you to return." It's the limited version, like a box set, and then they ordered the standard version. So we talk about that whole thing. They were asking people to send their stuff back.
Okay, yeah, I need to check that one out. I need to get educated.
Yeah.
On the night breed,
Which I don't even, I'm not even a knot breed fan myself, but that whole story is like, it's hard to believe that they did that, but all right, man, but I appreciate it, and stay safe on your big trip to England here in a week or so, and
yep, gonna try to hit up some locations while I'm over there.
Let us know about Trick or Treat too. I'm definitely interested in hearing what he says about it.
Yeah, no, I'm definitely gonna find out what the story is on that, because I've never heard. I don't really know. He knows me, I know him, but we're not friends. But we are going to be in the same place Saturday. So I was going to take that opportunity to go. Come on, man. Let's get this
going on.
Let's get this guy back in business. Come on.
That's right.
Let's make that money, man. Let's make that money.
I have that same mug. That's killer. All right, man. You take it easy, and we will catch everyone next time. Well, Malfunction on YouTube.
Malfunction. Yeah. Mm-hmm. It's a tough one, because it's malfunction, but instead of TION, it's SEAN. So it's like this. So that's the word, but you scratch that part out. Boom.
There you go.
It's malfunction.
Or just search.
It
for
seemed
Sean
really
Clark.
clever at the time, but now it's just like nobody can find my page.
Well, the easiest way, Sean Clark. Just search for him. You got all kinds of shit on YouTube. It's very entertaining stuff.
Yeah, it's yeah. I think there's something for everybody if you're a horror nerd. So otherwise,
all right. But yeah, we appreciate everybody joining us too. We had a lively crowd and a chat. A lot of talk there, and we will catch you guys next time over at DEADPIT.com. Give us the thumbs up.
Up your butt.
Like, subscribe, and if you subscribe, here's something else you can do. Once you subscribe, you can click the bell notification, right? And it'll notify you anytime that Dead Pit puts up new shit.
Or don't. I really don't give a if you do or
I
don't.
want you to. I want you to.
I don't care.
Let's keep our community growing here on YouTube.
I don't like it. I don't want you to touch nothing.
Listen, they need to do that, pal.
No, don't you dare touch it.
Thumbs up, subscribe, and click that bell. Thank you to all of our supporters on Patreon. Dead Pit on Patreon.com is the only place to check out a complete archive of the old Dead Pit radio shows all the way back from 2005 on, in addition to the midweek shows and fan commentaries, exclusive podcasts, and much more. Dead Pit on Patreon.com if you're interested. Tiers start at only $1.